Do you ever feel like you're over your head with your investment portfolio? So maybe you should consider taking some help from someone, but you're not sure in what way. So just want to share with you an example. My father-in-law is in his 70s. So in 2016, he took some big chunk of money, okay, and gave it to someone to invest it in, bonds and mutual funds, all this kind of stuff. And then after 5 years, he found out that he still has the same amount of money. And the market, if you just take as a reference point, the S&P increased by 60% over the last 5 years from since he started his investment. I think he started his investment in 2016 or 17, okay? And it was amazing because, usually you're getting this, quarterly or annual reports and you don't really check them or you have no idea what does it mean, all those numbers. And then you understand they are paying so much fees, just to manage those things. They have so many transaction fees, okay? And when you're talking to these advisors, right? They have no idea what they are doing because they are just getting some, recommendation from the big company, right? From the corporate, right? So and of course they don't put their money where their mouth is. Okay, so I just want to share with you like 5 points. Okay, if you consider to hire an advisor, someone going to help you with investment, what should you take into consideration? Okay, number 5, I prefer be like number 5. Okay. So I'm going to get to it in a second. The first point is the pro. Why do you want to hire someone professional? So again, you are busy with your life, with your career, okay? In most cases, you don't have time to follow all the markets, and don't have time to manage what you are doing. So that's a good idea to get some help, from someone who's gonna all the time is watching the market. Because usually those advisors, they are part of a big firms, okay? These firms have a lot of money, to do the research on the market. They have their own advisors, and in most cases, those companies, they're also investing their own money, okay? So in theory, everything is going great. So the concept is very nice. Give the money to someone, he's going to look after my money, and I'm going to focus in my life. So that's the big benefit. So now I want to talk about the second option, why you shouldn't do it, okay? So the first point was about the benefit, why you should, but now I want to talk about the big disadvantage, okay? And I just want to talk about the cost of how does it cost you. So again, every company is using different type of pricing scheme. So some, they are charging a percentage of your portfolio, okay? Some going to charge you a flat fee, okay? And of course, all those companies, they're going to charge you a fee regardless of their performance. So it's not like a performance base. Some companies, they do offer that, and that's the ones that you should consider. Okay? If you outperform the market, so again, that's the indication, right? So again, you need to see if the S&P went up by 10% and they did 10%, so what's the point? You just pay them a fee for doing nothing, okay? But if the S&P went up by 10% and they, made your portfolio go up by 15% minus their fees, so let's assume you did like a 4% extra on the market, that's not bad. But again, all the time you need to compare what the market is doing. Let's call the market the S&P, right? And let's see how they are doing that. And also they're going to mislead you sometimes. They're going to show you the average of the last 3 or 4 or 5 years. And again, you need to compare the market to their performance, okay? And sometimes average, it's a very misleading indicator. So again, if they went up by 20 and 1 year up by 30, 1 year up by 10, okay, it's an average, okay, but what about if 1 year is gonna went down by 40%? So eventually not gonna get much other than the market. So that's a very important thing to know, okay, and sometimes it's very hard to understand. Even if you read all the long documents of paperwork, it's very hard to understand what kind of structure of fees they have. So the third one is expertise, okay? So again, first you need to distinguish if it's a big company or a small company. Is that a big fish or small fish? Are you talking to a salesperson, a middleman, or you're talking to a really sophisticated investor that they know what they're doing, okay? Because expertise, it's a very broad range, okay? Because again, if someone knows one step ahead of you, you think of them as an expert, but are they? Okay, so that's a big question you need to ask yourself, okay? And again, then no one can be expert in everything, okay? No one can understand stock market, Bitcoin, crypto, dividend stocks, fundamental investment, businesses, equities, real estate, rentals, multifamily. You can't be an expert in everything. Of course, there are some big firms that have different departments, but again, the question is when they offer you something, what is in it for them? Okay, so some companies, again, if it's a flat fee, they're just going to recommend you what to do, but it's going to be your choice. Okay, that's something that I'm going to be open. If it was me, okay, I'm going to be open to hear, okay, what do you think about the market. But again, maybe the expertise, what do today, okay, may change in 1 year or 2 years, depend on the environment, right? So it is important to understand, like, what kind of expertise do they have, and what kind of expertise that you like to have on those kind of people. Number 4 is the risk and reward. So first, those company, again, let's talk about the big firm. The benefit of that, they have like multiple buckets of knowledge, okay? So in this way, they know how to diversify your portfolio, which is good. Okay, because if it's like a person on the other side, like one trick pony, okay, you just want to know, I understand this, okay, but they don't know something else. So again, in most of the investments, they have some underlying risk. So you need to understand it. So first, you need to understand your risk profile, how you're comfortable with their investment decision, how you need to be involved in what they are doing, right? But you need to understand what should you expect from the research and what's going to propose for you. The last one is personal preferences. That's my favorite, because again, I assume that you have a tendency towards something. You have a tendency to invest in real estate, you have a tendency to invest in stock market, or you have a tendency to invest in an alternative investment like private lending, like I like to do, okay? And that's very important, okay? Because if you want to work with someone that you prefer to go in real estate, and someone, believe in the stock market, it's not gonna work, right? So you need to find someone that, have the same passion like you are, and he's believe in the same vehicle like you are, and also you're gonna have the same language with them, okay? Because like example, in real estate, there's some vehicles, you can have a very good vehicle, to save some taxes, infer taxes, to get some tax frees. But again, if you're talking to a stock guy, okay, he doesn't really care about the taxes, because there's not much tax benefits in the stock market, okay? It's more about trades, industries, margins, all this kind of stuff. So how you can increase your yield, okay? So that's very important. And also you need to find someone that's going to be comfortable working with, okay? So you have to have align with the same values, okay? And he understand, what you are looking to achieve and how he can help you, okay? Like I tried so many different type of investments, okay? And then I found something, it's not very common, okay, to hear people what they're doing this, but I like to invest in mortgage notes. I like to be a private lender. I like to collect, monthly cash flow from a note that, secured by property that I'm not the owner. So there is the owner of a property. I like land because it's very simple, okay? And I'm just collecting notes, or collecting the payments. And the beauty about it, the management is minimal, okay? The return is very high, okay? And you're not, dependent if the market's gonna go up or down. That's great. So again, if you should consider to work with someone, you have to make sure that all the points I mentioned above, they are aligned with what you want. Of course, I know many people, they like to do it by themselves. That's great. If you have the time, the ability, and the desire, this more important thing to do it, that's great, okay? But if you're not, you need to do something with your money, okay? So when you decide to do something with your money, just think about, talk with your wife, talk with your partner, and see what's the right thing for you, and make sure that the money is working for you, but that the money is going up, not down in value. So thank you much for watching the video. Please click on the next video. What's the most common things between successful investors like Warren Buffett, Charlie Munger, Bill Gates, and all the rest. See you there on the next video. Bye-bye.